the second question was, what is your passion, and who or what motivated you or inspired you to take everything serious and want to pursue your current endeavors?
Right. Bro, I would say my passion, I learned it about like a year and a half ago, is to inspire others to do what I'm doing, but not necessarily like in entrepreneurship. And I mean that by saying like, at first when I first became an entrepreneur in general, right, like it's you know it, man, it's like a crazy risk, like nobody's for you, and you'd be surprised at how much people you think are supposed to support. I remember like we had conversations about about like support and like family too and friends and stuff, man. And the risk of actually going into it, that's when you learn, right? You learn like, nah, this is my journey. Right?
Yeah.
This is the things that I have to do the actual. So I remember I used to be so pushy, bro, on my close friends and my family, like, bro, you gotta try it out. It's worth it. Like, it's worth it. Like, it's worth it. It's worth putting in. And then I learned, man, that it's not to say that it's not worth it for them, but it may not be their vision or their journey, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how much times can you actually push a person to do something that you actually love? Like, entrepreneurship and mentoring and these things are an aspiration that I inspire, to do over time. And I learned that over time. It's like, oh shit, like I have my dad or our parents, right? Like they've been working since they was kids. My dad was completely against me becoming, and not completely against it. I'm not gonna say that because if he sees it, he'll be like, nigga, I wasn't. But he didn't have as much confidence in me, and I don't blame him. Like I literally and to give a quick example, I remember he gave me the deposit money to get the first actual ink time in Hammond, and this is before I learned how to do zoning and like how to figure out like in the city hall what you can open and what you can't. I was fresh into the game, and I ended up renting a spot that you couldn't open up a tattoo shop at, so I had to go back and talk to the owner, and luckily he was a pretty cool guy. And this was after days of like painting the walls and stuff, bro. So after I brought him back the bread, I remember, like, imagine you giving somebody the loan. Of course I was gonna pay him back, but I'm like, hey, it didn't work out. So like the confidence in going forward, like, come on, bro, you don't even know what you're doing, which was 1,000% fair, you know. But after that, man, I promise you, after that first mistake, I learned to never make another move unless I did research, and heavily research, bro. Heavily research. So going back to the question about the passion, man, throughout that beginning journey until now, my passion elevated from just like, oh, I think I'm gonna be a full-time entrepreneur and make millions, to be a entrepreneur, also like a person that inspires people to actually pursue something that they love. And only because I've been doing this for this may be about 6 years. I've been doing it long enough to where I can have a conversation with you, or I can have a conversation with your mans, and I can know if you like doing what you like to do. Bro. It's not gonna take a lot of deep questions or like interview questions to be like, okay, well, let me find out. No, we're going to talk on a regular basis, and then based off of the information, or based off the information that you come back with me about the next time we talk, I'm going to know that you, and I learned that at the beginning. I had 100 conversations with everybody, because you had to remember I was pushing it. Everybody's like, yo, Dre, bro, I got this idea about this. I got this. I'm like, bet. I would ask like 5 to 6 questions and come back with it like maybe a month later. Like, hey, bro, didn't you tell me about They wouldn't have no new information on it. And that's when I was like, almost like, damn, they don't, like, bro, that's on you, you know? So my passion right now, bro, is to really like, and even this year the most, man, like 2024, 2023, I sat back and worked, and it was an amazing year for me. But 2024, I promised myself to be more engaged with those that I've met in these past couple of years. Because I tell people now, if you give me somebody, bro, that loves to make pizza, like they working at Pizza Hut right now, but they love to make pizza, bro. I can open up a pizza shop, no doubt. And only because the aspiration come from, like, all right, they already love to do it, right? All I gotta do is provide maybe a spot for them to do it, buy an oven, buy the dough. That's what I did here, you know. And I give them the utmost respect because they're professionals in what they do, and they know that, especially in the shop. So the tattoo shop, I just found people that love to do what they love to do. And at the beginning, you remember D-Block and them? He was actually going to that tattoo shop too, innit?
Roy Boys.
Bro Boys?
Yeah, that's how I met him. I'm gonna talk about that also.
But yeah, so it started there, bro. And for that to transpire over here and to transpire to everybody else, bro, like, I know for a fact my passion is to not only continue to do what I'm doing, right, to find different endeavors, whether it's the tattoo shop, the vending machine, the piercing supply. Like, there's a lot of endeavors that I'm going to be pursuing. But overall, bro, I'm going to say my passion is to help others pursue their dreams and maybe even partner up with people, you know, like become one of those. And I had to learn that too, because a lot of businesses are surprising. Like, you know, if a lot of tattoo parlors or barbershops or salons, a lot of the owners are actually a part of the actual shop. Yep. And even throughout these years, these guys are shocked. Like, man, you're the owner. The first question I get every rib, like, I want to get a tattoo on my arm. Or how much is gonna? And I have to humbly say, like, I don't tattoo, I don't pierce. I just own the shop. And for me to say I just own it, because even for these guys, they know in the background I do hella shit. I do a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising, a lot of meetings for them to actually push their work out. Now, they're the talent of the core, you know, but I learned for a business to operate, these last 2 years have been my best years. And it wasn't because the financial part, even though that has grown for sure, but it's because the actual energy and the actual elevation from where Inktown first started to now, with the website and the QR codes and the reviews and Facebook and Google, and even to be in Gary and to be as successful as we are has been a blessing, bro. And even being in Gary, like, I remember at the beginning, I was hesitant. My family from the G, you know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up, so the comfortability, I wasn't hesitant for, like, being here, being like, I was more hesitant, like, man, will I get enough business to actually operate around my business? And will it be a respected business? And will it be a business that operates at the point where people are still going to be able to come? And it was, bro. Like, it didn't take the people to make Inktown. It took me to grow as a leader. And even the guys that I work with now that have been here for a while, they've grown so much in here with me. And it's been amazing to see, man. It's been amazing to see.
Yeah, that was a great answer also, and I can attest to what you said about how you trying to inspire and just motivate people to basically, like, be the best at what they do best, like, not do what I'm doing, but do what you do best in your field, rather than you be in this realm of, like, piercer or tattoo artist or lawyer, doctor, whatever you pursuing. Right. Just be the best in that realm, and that's all that you're trying to do. And I can attest to that, because that you motivated me and inspired me to continue to learn more and get more information about what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing, even though it may not be the glamorous part. It's still necessary for you to know, because if somebody, like you said, asks you about what you're doing, they can tell if you're passionate about what you about what you're doing or not. And
just before we move on, I want to say, going back to those that work, right? Those that want to have a job or be a lawyer or even work for a company, I tell them, like, I've met a lot of them at the gym, and we got to remember, for us, like, we have to be like, it's okay for people to actually still work a job. Not everybody. I think it was Fat Joe said it on a podcast. He's like, everybody's trying to be the chief, but doesn't anybody want to be the Indians? Not everybody can be a chief, and not to say that we're fighting for it, you know. But I tell those that are going to continue to work in the field, like, be happy then, right? Because what's the only difference between entrepreneurs is we kind of choose our hustle. We choose how much, and sometimes it's a hard choice, but we have to gain that respect and gain that ask for a job if you're there. And I told my sister that, I'm like, if you're at the job, that's cool, but I better not hear you complaining about it. Yeah. You better be happy you better not be like, well, I hate this. You better be at a job that you're comfortable, you like going to. Yep. And if not, the only reason why I say that is because if you making $20 an hour, $22 an hour, and you're unhappy in a field and you've been in that field for long enough, you can sure enough find a job that's in the field, maybe not making more, maybe making the same, or maybe $1 less. But if your peace and your happiness is gonna, you know what I'm saying, that's more important.
It's gonna outweigh the finance.
Yeah, so the overall, like, picture of that, for me, I think that makes what was I trying to say? The overall picture for those that actually are gonna continue to work, if you do, then take that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that you're at peace with everything that's happening. Make sure it values you as much as you value it, because you don't have to only value things that you create, you know.
Yep. And I also look at it from the perspective of, like, how like Mike Tyson said it on his podcast. He was like, you got to do what you don't like, what you hate, like you love it. So that, like, not saying like your passion, but I'm saying like if you got to work a job in order to fund what you pursuing, ain't nothing wrong with that. It might be a job you don't want to do or you don't like going to, but you got to work it like you love it in order to fund and do what you're doing. So that's why I'm like, I can attest to that because I was doing that also. So that's why I'm like,
100%.
because even when I told you, like, I was working at 3 jobs just to make the first event happen. Like, I didn't want to do that, but I was so invested into it that I didn't have a problem doing it because I only had like one off day out the week, but I was still getting closer to what I needed to invest in to make the first pop-up happen.
Right.
But let me go ahead and ask you the third question. That was the second one. Okay. Next question is, in your opinion, what books have made a big impact on you?
So, I'm gonna pull it up, man, right now, real quick. I listen to audiobooks. I'm gonna put that out there first. I read no paper books. I haven't read a paper book since my chemistry book in like my sophomore year.
Dang.
And only reason why, and a lot of people may like this, bro, I promise you, I have Amazon Audible. It's like $15 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You get like 2 credits, which is 2 books pretty much per, I don't know, every 2 weeks or so. And you'd be surprised because these days we're such in a digital content place where it's like everything that we listen to is in our headphones, on the speaker, and in the car. So I realized like I was losing out on a lot of education because I was choosing to not read. And what's crazy is we don't even think about reading, right? Like we just kind of go off of YouTube, and so I hopped into Amazon Audible, bro, and I just started buying books that specifically was targeting like my thought process at that time, right? Like I haven't yet read a book that was like fictionary and granted as a kid I used to read a lot, but right now I feel like like we're so in tune with what we are trying to do. You should be intentional with that. So the thoughts that you want to build up in your book should be the ones that are attached to your goals and stuff. So the 2 that hit me the most, man, was my first book I read in here was Leadership Strategy and Tactics by Jocko Willink. We can figure out if we can put a link or something in there, or I can even send it to you if anybody got questions. I can always share the book for sure. That book, man, it was about a Navy SEAL, and he was one. And he pretty much talked about all the tactics and the leadership strategies that he had to do while he was a Navy SEAL. I don't know if he was a sergeant, but he was up there. Like, he had a team of people. Yeah. But throughout the book, he gave so many examples about the decisions that he made in the middle of the war, too, on why it was valid or invalid decisions based off of his leadership skills and his skills to communicate, his skills to understand, his skills to be ethical, you know. So, bro, it was crazy because when I first started hearing it, I'm like, oh, it's about it. I personally haven't been in the Army. I haven't been in Navy SEAL, so I thought, nah, this is not for me. But after I read the book, bro, it was like one of those that almost changed my mind for ink time for sure, and just my thought process overall, because it let me know that, man, I'm in a position to be a leader, but a lot of times I don't have to lead. Like, I don't know if you remember when I was first here at ink time, I used to be here a lot, like almost every day with the guys, hanging out and chilling, and I learned as an entrepreneur or as the position that I want to be in this shop, that I have to create these managers and these boundaries and these things to actually create a business to where I don't have to be there as much, and I have to have, but of course it has to be able to operate and run on its own. This was one of the books that was like, this is how you continue to be a leader, but you can mold people into leaders. You can mold by doing these strategies, by actually helping them learn how to communicate. A lot of us, especially as adults, man, we forget that. We become very prideful when it comes to actually having to communicate or having to learn new things, because not to say we feel like we know it all, but in a sense, we have that attitude like, man, I ain't got to learn nothing else. You know, like I came from a place where I didn't have to learn how to actually communicate smoothly or learn how to speak professionally. I learned how to change up. You know, I can do hoodie and Timbs and I could be in a full suit. You know, a lot of people have actually a problem with that transition. And reading more and just in general, man, like even hearing podcasts, they say that the more that you in tune your mind with, especially if that's people that you're not familiar with, everybody, all these books that I'm reading, like that one for sure, I don't know anything about that side, you know. And then the other book that I'm gonna mention, man, I was gonna where is it at? Atomic Habits.
I like that one. I read that one.
Right? So I have Atomic Habits was a great book too. It wasn't that long. And it literally, if you read it, you already know it breaks down like all the things that you can do to start building up habits.
Yep.
You know, and positive habits at that. You know, and that was a huge one for me because I bought that book, or I paid for it for the thing when I was at a point where I felt like I was procrastinating, but everybody was like, bro, you're doing a lot. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing a lot when I feel like I'm procrastinating, bro. Like, I feel like, but I think in the sense of, and you probably are able to understand it too, in the sense of you already doing so much all the time, a lot doesn't feel like a lot to you, man.
Yeah,
it's just like, I always feel like I never have enough time to do everything, and now I'm used to it. Like, I'm used to, all right, at the end of the day, back at it tomorrow.
Yep.
You know, I can't tell you the last, unless it's on the weekend, the last day that I had a successful day where like, I got everything done. And as more as you get used to that, you get comfortable with it when you learn to grow habits, though. Like, you learn to fit in, like, your schedule with your schedule and the habits that you, and because these habits bring you peace. Yep. These habits bring you, like, all right, it may seem like chaos and hectic to everybody else because they're not seeing what's going on, but because I have good habits and good morale and good intentions towards what I'm going to continue to do, it allows us to have that peace in it. So, like, those were two books that I would recommend only because the Atomic Habits, that fits for everybody.
Yeah.
That fits for, like, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner already, you're thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, or if you're working 9 to 5, if you're a single mom and you don't know how to deal with a lot of, bro, we have to build up habits, and sometimes we're lost because we feel like we can just go with life how it flows, you know. And sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But when you build up like something that you can maintainly do every day, and it makes you feel good about it, then you know.